I was 18, just out of high school, contemplating everything in life, all the choices that we make. And I rode the asphalt for 90 feet. In that, I was challenged by my mom to dig deep, not only spiritually, but also like where I wanted to be, where I wanted to go. And that's what, pointed me to going on a mission and like focusing on serving and helping others. So I served a mission in Alabama. It was hot, sweaty, knocked doors, got into teaching people, leadership, and just really sharing the light of not only me, but also my Savior with other people, which was huge. And I still try to do that to this day. I came home, went to school in Rexburg, and I thought I wanted to become a lawyer. So I studied English, which I am a horrible student. Definitely not my jam to be writing papers, but I learned a lot. I struggled with it. I fought it. I hated school. I wasn't doing well. And then, it was probably like 2 years in, almost 3, I decided to take this random course, which would later impact really the rest of my life. It was a visual media class. So I jumped in and we started doing graphic design, a little bit of photography, a little bit of video. And I was like, holy cow, like I love this stuff. Like I want to do this more. So then I took the photography class, and my professor, Karen Esplin, she really impacted me a lot because she challenged me. So in that class, I was almost getting ready to fail the class. And our assignment was to do light painting, which is a long exposure and you paint with light. And that night, I struggled to do it. I laid out my shoes on my bed in my apartment, and this is like a college dorm pretty much. And I started painting with my cell phone. It changed and impacted me because it gave me, wow, I can do this. So that light, the power of light was huge. I started understanding like how much you could play with light in the camera. That's also an analogy with our life, right? Like how much light we can absorb, but we can also, give to other people with that light. And from that assignment, I got really into photography. And there's something about me that you should know. I'm kind of a full send it kind of guy. I don't necessarily go halvesies. I mean, it's 0 or 110. And a lot of times you learn the hard way when you live like that. And I'll definitely share some stories about that. But I went all in with photography, met some amazing people, had some amazing opportunities, went to some big conventions and met some of the biggest, photographers of the day. And I really got to see hey, I could do this. There's potential in this. And lo and behold, photography led me to so many different doors. It led me working for a snowmobile company a couple times. It led me working, with many people at their weddings and capturing family photos or taking that photo of a loved one that's about to pass away. But here's what's the coolest part about this whole entire thing is through all of that, going up to that point, I was 26, 27 years old, still wasn't married yet, and I was looking. I was doing wedding photography. If I went ahead and, helped out with Christmas cards for all these roommates, there's 6 girls to an apartment, that I could potentially get their, engagements and their wedding down the road. And that, my friends, is how I met my wife, Megan. So she was kind of there. She was tall. She was blonde. She was younger. She wasn't interested in me at all because I was older. There's an 8.5 year gap between us. She did not want to go out with me. So I was persistent. I call it the hardest sell that I've ever had in my life. Made these little flip cards. This sounds really bad and cheesy, but they're 52 date questions. And we went through them and we were laughing and giggling and just having a great time. And then she tried to dodge me to go on a second date. Fast forward a couple months later, we're dating, but not technically dating. You don't really know. And then we're sitting there talking about, she's from Alaska, if there's any chance one day I could go to Alaska. And she'll tell you her side of the story. It was like 2 hours. It was more like 5. I took everything that I had in my savings account at that time and I bought plane tickets to go to Alaska and to meet her like in a few months. We were long distance for like 6 months, so we got to know each other really well over FaceTime and Skype and all that good stuff. And then we were later married that next year. Megan has impacted me in my life. She is everything to me. She is my partner. She is my best friend. And she's also she's also a great mom. But my life has went 10x since she's been in my life. So she is that was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. That leads us to the chapter that we're in right now. So I just jumped from an amazing company that I was at for 5 years. They taught me everything I needed to know about mortgages. They taught me, they took me off the street. They helped, me become who I am. But as you can see with all these events throughout my life, from starting to mowing lawns to photography to knocking doors to, has always been instilled in me that like I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to provide a service for people and allow them to have the Tyler experience. And I mean that in a good way. I mean, the talents and abilities that I have, I wanted to be able to express that to my friends and the people that I, take care of or serve.